Yo, what up, everybody? Saturday morning here in Finland, putting down a few thoughts relating to artistic stuff once again. So, it's Saturday morning. I'm downing coffee from my stinky cup, moving stinky. So, I just put out an album, and it often makes me stop for a little while and kind of see where I'm at. And I don't look back that much. I'm that kind of guy. I just push on. But a few thoughts came up, and somebody also asked me what success is. So I'll get back to that. I want to start with a little story that I ended up thinking about, which is kind of relevant. It's probably 10-ish years ago in Ableton Loop in Berlin, maybe 2016 or something. Jazzy Jeff was speaking, and he had this story. He was at a music festival with some artists and whatever. I think he said he was at the backstage with some rappers, and guy started rapping, and just having fun. I could see rappers do that. And there was a few guys, and one of them was a guy who had got some visibility, let's say, as a rapper. He did well in the early 90s, and he also was asked to rap, and he said, like, nah, fuck rap, I don't do that. And the other guys were like, what? Yo, why? Because I know you're great, why don't you rap? So he said he doesn't want to do it anymore because he had some success, but then, like, he had obviously been selling records, and then things just went downhill, and it didn't work out anymore. So he just stopped, and it was obvious that he was very, well, you probably see where I'm going with this word, grouchy and disappointed. So he ended up sort of hating the music he was great at. So Jazzy Jeff used this expression of a producer with a broken spirit. And his message or his point was that don't get grouchy or angry at the music. Don't hate music. I mean, his question was, what did music ever do to you? So the answer to that would be music never did anything. You probably loved music. If you were able to make music that people were paying for, if it got out there, you were probably good at music. So don't hate the music ever. Like, maybe some things happen, maybe some things won't happen, but music is not the thing you should be hating. So this kind of takes me to what success is in my book in terms of being an artist, a music maker, and so on. And this also relates to, well, I've been making music for over 30 years. Even when I say it aloud, it sounds kind of crazy. So in my book, being a successful artist is not being that guy, the artist with a broken spirit, like literally being able to create art that makes you happy. I think over time, I cannot say that it necessarily gets easier. I mean, being able to make music at any point in your career that makes you happy is never easy, because I think the farther you go, the more music you will have heard. Even when you start, probably you will have heard music, a lot of great music. So the bar is very high in terms of being able to make something that you like. But the further you go, the more you will have done, the more you have just tried stylistically and so on. So literally, I think artistic success is if you are able to sustain like consistent productions and making something that you're truly proud of. So that literally would be my answer to the question that I got the other day, like what makes a successful artist. I mean, even for me, it's been a bit of a journey. I can remember many people. I don't want to put any names out there, but people who have come and go, people that I used to talk to, that were DJs, producers. I've read so many posts over the years online, like, yo, should I quit? I've lost all passion. Like I've been making music for I don't know 8 years, and now it just doesn't do anything for me. And I think those people probably. I mean, life is complex. We are complex, so it's not. There's never one simple answer. But I think those people might be those artists with a broken spirit, and it's those people that I would like to talk to about what success is like. This takes me back, I don't know, I'm too lazy to count, maybe 15 or 16 years. It was right after I had finished my university studies. I have a master's degree, teacher stuff, translation. I never really chased that very far after graduating. That's beside the point though. For the last year, I went on a little musical hiatus to be able to focus to graduate from the university. So things slowed down. I stopped traveling for DJing, and I didn't make music for a year just to be able to just finish everything. And after that, I made an album, and my expectations were really high. I shit you not. I felt like, okay, I've been away for a little while, so people are probably very hungry, and it'll probably be received very well. And it wasn't. I was I was this guy with a broken spirit for a while. Like literally, I felt like, whoa, what the hell? Like it's not selling so well. I was expecting some bookings where they were not coming in. Not a whole lot of media love. And I said to myself, like, fuck, like maybe I should quit. And I remember talking to my the person who was my significant other back then. Like, should I quit? What do you think? Like, I already felt like I have a bit of a career behind me. And she said, yeah, maybe if you feel like it, you should do it. And I literally quit for I think for like 2 or 3, 4 days. It's been a while. I don't remember. But I was not a music guy for those days. Like I literally tried not being a music guy. I didn't make music. I didn't mess with samples, anything. And I got back to it because I realized that, man, that's what I am. I make music. Like I cannot be without it. So if you ever feel like you're not successful, allow yourself to quit and see if you can actually be a non-music person, because the chances are you will get back to it like I did. I remember well, like like I said, it's almost a joke. It only took me a few days. I got back to it, and I got back like I was feeling healthier than ever. I was more hungry for the music, and I was making lots of songs because the thing is, I think in like artistic endeavors, there's almost like, I would say there's two parts. And no, this is simplifying things. And maybe for some people there's more, but like you could see there's, the thing is about success and whatever, there's like the art you create and possibly what comes after that. Like, will you get some money, sales, fame? Not everyone chases that, but literally the success is there in my book if you're able to just create and not stop. I know this is a bit of a long-winded answer, but like if you're able to go without quitting, and I'm not saying it's not fine to take a break or hiatus. It's totally fine. But my point is, if you are able to go for a long time and you're still doing it, that's success, right? So keeping that flame going is one of your tasks as an artist. That's literally one of the most difficult things. Sometimes I think I play around with this thought, this silly thought, like, were people more happy in the 90s making music? That's when I started, because we didn't have statistics. There was no internet. You couldn't really compare. And now I see a lot of posts like, I'm not really making it, so I'm not enjoying it. I'm not seeing the sales come in and so on. And I think back, like if we had a time machine, if we went back to 90s, you might see it differently, because you couldn't really compare. Obviously there were way fewer people making music back then, so I know it's a silly thought, anyways. But I don't remember hearing about or seeing people being like super unhappy with music. They were just enjoying it. Obviously, it was a different world, but I'm just saying it was kind of healthy. All right, I had to go do a little stinky refill. I think one thing for triggering inspo that might actually make a lecture, but if there's one thing that's always been interesting to me is reading interviews of artists that have been there for a long time. You might get some insights. Like I used to probably find all the interviews with Luke Vibert and Aphex Twin. Those guys always have something to say, and so just try and see those. They might help. I think one thing about being an artist, like getting back to the topic here, is I think as an artist, you have to sort of put up with some sort of uncertainty. Like I wrote in my notes here, being an artist it's about being a little lost sometimes, and you go against it. It's all kind of uncertain. So that's the one thing you have to sort of tolerate. A lot of times, I say this jokingly, and it's at least half true. A lot of times I mean, there are days when I feel like I totally got it. But then again, some other day, I don't know what I'm doing, honestly. So, like my last album, I don't want to sell that too hard, but there were maybe one song called Strobe Light that was um probably the most accessible, probably the most dance floor song I've ever done. And this kind of takes me to the topic of, as an artist, you need to reinvent yourself a little bit. I'm not saying it's not fun doing the stuff that you're really good at and just kind of doing it again, but in terms of just keeping the flame burning, you need to try out different things. Like I haven't been churning out the same song. I hope you agree, for decades. So you gotta try out different things. After this, I'll be working on my Fat Guyver, my hip hop, lesser known alias for hip hop type of stuff, which I'm really stoked about right now. So to me, I kind of go in stages. I'm a bit slightly bipolar in terms of those two things. My main things are obviously drum and bass and that sort of breaky bassy stuff. But then there's this hip hop thing. This is a weird thing to say, but I want to say this. A lot of times when I'm stressed or just bummed, whatever, client, label, relationships, I do a whole lot of, I mean, my whole audio engineering thing is about customer service, let's face it. So whenever I feel like I get stressed out, I always start thinking about making hip hop. It's funny. So it kind of responds to that. So whenever you get those feelings, just appreciate that it's your mind kind of telling you like, "Yo, let's do something fun." And if you feel that making music kind of just is your safety valve, maybe, then appreciate it. Appreciate the gift that you have. A lot of times, making music and making art is to just it's a very emotional product, so it just kind of responds to your body's or your mind's emotional state. So the one thing I would like to tell people is that you should appreciate the gift that you have. Like if you are able to make music that you're happy with, then honestly, is that not success?